member of Alcoholics. Hi, family. I'm Olis, and I'm a grateful member of Alcoholics Anonymous. Man, I'm happy to be here. I want to begin, like I always begin, by thanking the people that I can see that put the meeting together. David, thank you so much for inviting me. I don't know how I got in such great company this month. You've got a really great lineup. Karen, thank you for being our shepherd and being our host this evening. And for the people who got here and volunteered to read, it's not a small thing to put your hand up for anything in Alcoholics Anonymous. So, thank you, Adrian, my friend. Thank you, Jim. Thank you, Molly. Thank you, Erwin. Um, and to all the people who I know and I travel this road with that are here because we're in connection, thank you. Like, you make my life better, you make my life rich. The thing about Alcoholics Anonymous, and it talks about this in A Vision for You. Like, this is something you don't want to miss. You don't want to miss this. My sobriety birthday, woohoo, is May 21st, 1987. Yeah. And so, we don't do fronts, but man, I'm so close, right? If I don't get drunk today or tomorrow and the creek don't rise, right? 38 years. Do you believe that? Like, I don't even believe it. The thing I should tell you is that I didn't come to Alcoholics Anonymous to stay. I actually had my first step experience in Alcoholics Anonymous because I got here, I was 26 years old. I had all my teeth. And I was like, it was a bunch of old white guys. And I was like, this could not be my destiny. I mean, absolutely not. This cannot be it for me, right? And thank God the old timers pulled me in. They got me a hospital and institution commitment. They gave me all the little jobs in Alcoholics Anonymous, right? I got here and we were still smoking in the meetings, right? I cleaned ashtrays, I made coffee, I was the chip person, I was the literature person. Literature person was a big deal, man. You went down the inner group, you went to the central office and bought some stuff, man, chips, and it was just so important in the beginning to belong, to have a way to belong. And I don't ever want to forget that. Here's the thing, it's not Wellness Anonymous. It's not Wellness Anonymous, right? So if you stick around long enough, some crazy stuff's going to happen at Alcoholics Anonymous to you. If you haven't had that happen yet, stick around, right? But the truth is that we can't not see the beauty of the forest for a couple of the trees. And every time something bizarre happens in or outside the rooms of Alcoholics Anonymous, what I've come to understand is it's an invitation for me to turn to the power that I serve, for me to step into the truth that I can't control what happens. I can only control how I react and respond. And that is the struggle bus. I am on the struggle bus just with that little part. But I get here, and what am I thinking? I can control everything. Some of the best writing in the book of Alcoholics Anonymous is the third step that Bill writes. And Bill talks, 60 to 63, 4, talks about the real problem. And the problem in Alcoholics Anonymous, and I have a point of view. So let me admit my point of view. My point of view is the only reason for me to open my mouth in a meeting at Alcoholics Anonymous is to provide an adequate representation of the program of Alcoholics Anonymous. So I don't have a whole bunch of drunkalogs and funny stories. I just don't. I mean, I probably do, but, be my friend, I'll share them. But in the meeting, my job is to tell people there's a way out. There's a way to joy and freedom, no matter what. Health diagnosis, somebody you love dies, the marriage fails, the job ends, the career's destroyed, the house is in foreclosure, the collectors are cut. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Each of those experiences are opportunities for me to grow. Now, how do I do? I mean, sometimes good, sometimes not, right? because sometimes quickly, sometimes slowly. But if I'm willing to keep at it, it's always better on the other side of whatever the latest disaster is. Always better. I need David or Karen to tell me in the chat how long I'm talking. I want to talk about where I am right now in my recovery. For those of you that are not good at math, I'm 64. I got here at 26. I've been here 37, 38 years almost. And at 64, it's this new season. It's another season. You know, and for whatever reason, I made a series of decisions, good, bad, or indifferent, right? Every day above ground's a good day, where I am unencumbered. I have 17 plants. That's what I have. I don't have a fish. I don't have a dog. I don't have a cat. I got some artwork in me. And I'm currently, and I've been doing it for a while now, for maybe 10 years, but recently in a much more active way, thinking about where really do I want to have my probably last house. You know, the people that know me know I want an adventure because, you know, I will move. I will move. I will put some stuff in a box. If you need to move, call me. I'm like an expert mover at this point. And I was living in Oakland and my mom got sick and I went to New York. We had a very complicated relationship. But the thing that you guys have taught me, and thank you for it, is that it doesn't matter how somebody else acts. It matters how I act. Here's the way that I have that question spiritually now. I'm going to offer you this. You're welcome to it. I'm known to say it doesn't matter why you're disturbed. It matters why you're disturbable. I'm known to say that, right? Because it turns the question on me. I'm disturbed because of something you did, but I'm disturbable because of something in me, some self-centered fear, right? Some self-righteousness, some, right? Unresolved something. But here's the new question. If the way that people act, if the way they behave, if the things that they do and the things that they say determine how I act, what I do, what I say, am I free? Right? No, I'm not free if what you do determines what I do. And so my mother gets sick, and it was a very complicated relationship. And I just kept showing up for it, imperfectly, but I just kept showing up. And when she died, because she wasn't the primary caregiver for me, I was raised by her older sister, who I really considered and had a maternal relationship with, considered my mom. I didn't think that my mother's passing was going to be a drastic change for me. And when my mother died, it changed me. And it goes to prove you don't know. You don't know. And I realized that the women in my family lived to their mid 80s, right? That's genetically what it looks like in the pool. And I was in my mid 50s, I was 57, and I asked myself, how do you want to spend the last 30 summers? How do you want to spend them? Because the thing about Alcoholics Anonymous, and the book tells me this over and over and over again, this is not a stop drinking program. Elimination of drinking is but a beginning. Now be where you are. So if you're struggling with not drinking, let's get you on that. But once you're not drinking and you follow the clear-cut directions that lead to joy and freedom and happiness, right? You follow those directions. The book tells me, and there's a solution, that a much more important demonstration of our principles lies before us in our homes, our occupations, and our affairs. Well, that's everything. My home's my occupation and that's my whole life. And I didn't get pulled back from the gates of hell for me. That's a hard one. I got pulled back to contribute to the world. Now, there's some people who I know and I love in Alcoholics Anonymous who I think are incredible. And I hear them say things like, well, I'm only concerned about me and my immediate circle. And if that's your get down, get on down. Get on the good foot on that one, right? That's not the way I see it anymore. That I've been pulled back from the gates of hell to be useful. And here's the paradox. There are actually a couple of them. One is I don't want to. I don't want to. I don't want to. I don't want to sponsor anybody. I don't want to speak at a meeting. I don't want a service commitment. I have streaming services. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? I could be watching something right now. I have TikTok, but I do the things that I don't want to do in order to have the life that I want to have. I'm spiritually inconvenienced in order to grow. It doesn't matter what I want. It doesn't matter because what I want burnt my whole life to the ground. This deal, the forward to the 12 and 12, and I'm a big book girl, but the forward to the 12 and 12 is lovely, miss. And it basically says that, the principles that we're laying out for you have the ability to make you whole and useful. What? Right. Whole and useful. And I think they go together because I'm not made whole for me, I'm made whole for us. So I'm a citizen as a result of you and Alcoholics Anonymous of the whole world. I'm concerned about the whole world. That are we all okay? Are we all safe? Are we all fed? Are we all warm? Are we all okay? And I feel like that's why I've been given this new life, this second chance. I started drinking at 4 years old. My mother couldn't care for me, and she left me with people. And when she left me with people, she didn't send money, and then they dropped me off to her family, her grandmother and her oldest sister. And when I was 4, she came back to get me. And I'm gonna imagine at 4 years old, I'm looking at her like, well, who are you, right? And this is the beauty of, man, from my new friends, the same exact steps that allow me to not drink and not behave in a way that burns my life to the ground. What does the book call it? The third step portion of the book says, I step on the toes of my fellows and then seemingly, this is a joke, without provocation, seemingly, oh, no, you did something, boo. You did something. Seemingly without provocation, right? They retaliate. And I'm really recovering from that, from living in the world in a way that I'm always colliding with other people and other things, creating conflict, being the creator of chaos. That's what I'm really recovering from. And the thing that I have found, and Alcoholics Anonymous taught me this, that helps me do that best is to learn how to, what does it say on page 77? To fit myself to be useful to God and the people about me, right? That's what keeps me from colliding, figuring out how can I be useful? How can I be helpful? Oh, you don't think that has anything to do with drinking? Let me help you. Let me give you this example. I know my friend Robert here, I know, and a couple of y'all I know here from the Bronx Big Book Study. And I love that meeting. When I got to that meeting, it was like 50, 60 people. And, being selfish and self-seeking, I was like, what can I do? What can I do? What can I do? Not for the meeting, because I just wanted the meeting to keep going because I liked it. And I was able to pour myself into the meeting, right? Let's have a structure. Let's have a Google account. Let's have a website. Let's have a service table. I'm a worker. I will produce some stuff. And in that service position, I booked a new big book speaker every night for 2 years. I had 1 month off. It was supposed to be a month, but the other dude didn't show up, but it was almost a month, right? If you do that, let me tell you what will happen. You'll develop a network of people who love Alcoholics Anonymous. It's incredible. I think in my phone now, I must have 400 solid speakers, right? And I learned that there's a club inside of the club. Everybody that wants to be an Alcoholics Anonymous can be an Alcoholics Anonymous. The third tradition says the only requirement for membership is the desire to stop drinking. You could be drunk and come to the business meeting and have the same vote as me. Those are the rules. Those are the rules. But that's just on the team. That's not in the game. That's what my friend Ralph White calls it, in the game. My friend Marty out of Canada says it's the club inside the club. What am I talking about? I'm talking about the people who are really using the spiritual tools to deal with life as it comes. So I'm at the Bronx Big Book Study, and I'm at the Sunday meeting, and it's Mother's Day. And I had a career, the last 15 years of my career was serving young people 13 to 24. And I'm talking about all kind of stuff. Take them home, register them from school, go into the crack house, get them out, all kind of stuff, like love them, love them. And Mother's Day comes, and not is crickets, not a call, not a text, not a meme, nothing. Nobody. And I start doing what we do. I start looking back with morbid reflection. I start having regret. I start pulling stuff out like I'm a build me a resentment. And then the light came on that you guys gave me. And the light said, the way to have the thing you want is to give it away. And while I listened to that 11 a.m. speaker at the Bronx Big Book talk about how they came to develop a relationship with the God of their understanding, I got my phone out. And every single woman that was in my phone going back 9 months or more, I sent them a happy Mother's Day. The whole meeting. And when I was done, I felt better. Because the spiritual practice is I get the things that I want by giving it to you. If I want joy, I become a joy maker. If I want peace, I become a peacemaker. Since we're in Tennessee, let's talk about my friend Scott. Scott who rides around in his car with the clown nose and bubbles. And what's Scott do? Scott says, when I'm trapped in traffic, I pull out my clown nose and I put it on, and then I blow the bubbles so that people can see. A joy maker. And the question is, this is my third question. First question, doesn't matter why you're disturbed. It matters why you're disturbable. Why are you disturbable? The second question, if the way other people move determines how you move, are you free? Right? Third question, what are you doing to be a joy maker in your life? What are you doing to be a joy maker in your life? And sometimes it's the little things. You know, I'm a little bit all over the place. You know, I spend a lot of time on TikTok. I'll just admit that. And you know, it'll give you what you want, right? The algorithm will feed you. And some guy has popped up on my For You page. For the old people as old like me that don't know what that means, the stuff that's for me. And the guy is talking about the Stoics. And Marcus Aurelian apparently wrote a book I need to go buy and read. And the essence of their message is, I have no ability to control what happens, only the ability to control how I respond. And so my job is to accept what comes. This is not new. Anybody that knows the poet Rumi, the incredible, amazing Iranian poet, the prolific writer, yes, the guest house. Go look at the guest house. See, this vessel that I'm in, because the soul, I believe, is forever. It's eternal. The body's just a shell. And you know, we spend most of our time thinking about the shell. Well, I don't like this person. They're too dark. They're too light. They're too short. They're too tall. Oh my God. And let me just say, if you're born into a black body, you for real experience that. You experience it. But the thing is, I don't have to do, that's because that's what you do. I don't have to do that, which is hard. But this experience of realizing that what I'm actually doing is I'm trying to feed my soul, that I'm trying to develop a consciousness of a relationship that I've always had with the creator of all things. Now, we all believe what we want to believe, right? Here's what I've come to believe, that the same thing that created me created you, created the stars, created the ants, created all the things, that we're all a part of a creation and we're all attached. And so when we talk about the steps, for me, I've come to understand the steps is this clear cut set of activities, spiritual exercises that I do to mend any harm I've done to the fabric of the universe. You know, somebody was messing with me and said a series of the wrong things. You could call me and say, my number's right there. You could call me and say a series of wrong things and you'll get clipped. Because I'm not that recovered. Yeah, you'll get clipped. Then I'm mad because then I got to call you and make amends about that. Oh, so hard. So painful. Somebody called me and we're actually not even talking, we're texting. And they say a series of things that I'm offended by. And I started in text saying things that were condescending and self-righteous. Without saying it, I'm saying to the person, I think you're an idiot. Yep, a bozo, a clown. I didn't say those words, but my tone. And I went back to the person and did the 5 magic things that we call step 9. May I please have some of your time? Here's the exact thing that I did to harm you. That my tone was condescending, my tone was self-righteous, and my only desire is for you to feel loved from me. Is there anything else I've done to harm you? Please tell me how to make it right. Thank you so much for your time. You know, and it's this obvious mending. And then where do I live? I live in 10, 11, and 12. What is step 10? It's step 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. The steps that precede 9, I would argue, prepare me for 9. They prepare me. Because guess what? Until I know that I'm whooped, I mean whooped. I'm absolute, which is step 1. 3 parts of step 1. Bodily different than my fellows, and if I drink, I'm gonna get thirsty. Second part, there's a voice in my head that sounds like me, that lies to me, tells me things that are not true. The entire chapter more about alcoholism. Actually, I'd argue from page 23 to 43 in the book of Alcoholics Anonymous. Because where's the problem center? My mind. The scariest thing about this illness that I have isn't the drinking, it's that I can't trust my own thinking. I have 3.8 decades. And you know what I have? A sponsor. Her name is Nancy C. And I call her Mondays at 8:30 in the morning. Yes, I do. You know what else I have? A network of friends that I call and tell what's happening, what I'm thinking, and what I did. And they help me see the truth about myself. Because I can't trust my own thinking. It's gotten better as I've gotten my connection with the power better. But there's some ideas that are ridiculous. And they sound brilliant to me. Oh my God. They're so smart. It is not sometimes until I call my sponsor and say it aloud that I can hear how ridiculous it is. Sometimes I can't even hear it then. Somebody's got to tell me, Alice, what are you talking about, right? And in 3, the third part of my first step problem is this delusion that I'm disconnected from the source of all things. For those of you that know me, you've heard me say this. When the breath leaves the body, the spirit leaves the body. So I believe that the breath and the spirit are connected, which means that I'm as close to God as every breath. Every breath, perpetual and eternal. And I'm just not conscious of it. Why? Because I'm worried about what the scale says, or I'm worried about what I think you think about me, because I don't really know what you think. I'm worried about stuff. Mostly stuff I don't have any control over. And then in 2, what am I doing? I'm admitting I'm not God, which allows me to open a deal in 3. And the deal in 3 is, if you just help me, I promise I'll be useful to your other children. I promise. Let me tell you what I've discovered about 3. Well, a couple things. I was on the Bronx one night, and this guy, who I probably booked, I don't even remember who it was, and he said the most genius thing about 3. You ready? He said, if I could surrender fully in the 3rd step, it'd be a 3-step program. How about that part? How about that part? I can't all the way surrender in 3. 3 only opens a deal. It only opens the deal. That's why there's no amen at the end of the prayer, if you ask me. Just opens the deal. I'm still negotiating, by the way, in 3. Oh, God, if you do this for me, I'm going to do this. Look, God don't need me to do nothing. But then I learned the truth about myself in the 3 inventories. I learned the truth about myself. I begin to see the truth about myself. Old spiritual trick. I look at that I'm mad at you and figure out how I've done harm. Yeah, that one hurts. Yeah, if you're new and we tell you to make that list of the people that you're mad at, it's a trick. Because we're going to use that to figure out what you did. Yeah, what you did. Because I step on the toes of my fellows, and then seemingly, right? And in 5, I tell somebody so they can help me see. I got this from Sydney R. out of LA. I love Sydney. Sydney says 5 is to help you see the pattern of pain that you create in your life. I got here and I thought other people did it. I thought you created the pain in my life. Oh, my mother abandoned me. Oh, my uncle molested me. Oh, but I held on to all of it. Those things happen. They're in the past. There's nothing I could do about that. Where I create the harm is that I live my life through that lens. Then people gone, then people dead. Why am I holding on, dragging dead people around with me? It's just ridiculous. But do I do it sometimes? Sure I do. And then in 6, I admit it doesn't work. It just doesn't work. If cussing people out worked, I would do it. If being mean to you worked, I would do it. Let me tell you why I would do it. Because I'm really good at it. We all like to do the things we're good at, but it doesn't work. It always creates harm for me and the people around me, which is counter to my goal. My goal is to fit myself to be of maximum service. And the truth is, on my own, I'm unfit. And at 7, I closed the prayer I opened in 3, right? Amen at the end of the prayer. And now I'm not even bargaining anymore. I'm not bargaining. I'm like, look, God, just take all of me, the good and the bad. Just you decide. Now, I have some defects that God has continued to use. You know the not good enough thing? You know what it makes me? It makes me a really good AA worker. Oh, I'm a good AA servant. I'm just a good friend. Because I'm always in that small place that I'm not even conscious of. Proving. Now, I call it making myself fit, but the whole story is maybe proving. And it doesn't matter if it's useful. It really doesn't even matter. As long as I'm contributing something positive in the world. I'm sending out into the universe these beautiful vibrations that come back to me. If you want a blessing, be a blessing. That's what the whole 11-step prayer is about. The prayer that we credit to St. Francis is that if I want love, if I want comfort, if I want understanding, if I want truth, just give it away. That's how I get it. I wish that I'd known these things at this level when I first got here. But I guess it wasn't time. Because everything is perfect. Maybe not what I want it to be, but everything is perfect. Just like it's supposed to be. So my current crazy, because anybody in Alcoholics Anonymous that tells you they're not crazy, they're not paying attention. Not paying attention. So my current crazy is, and I've been on this one for a while, Anne's going to laugh. Patty's going to laugh. I want a house with an in-ground pool in a backyard that's private so that I could do whatever I want in my backyard and my pool, right? And I've been on the look for it. I went to North Carolina. Nope. I went to Georgia. Nope. Nope. Now I'm thinking about Merida. Let's move to Mexico. I don't know. Let's move to Thailand. I don't know. Let's see what God has. Let's see what God has. But I live my life today like it's an adventure. That every day I wake up is a new adventure. Where can I be useful? Where can I learn something? Where can I be the light? Where can I be a joy maker? And the most remarkable thing about that is that I'd rather TikTok and Netflix, but I don't. When you call me, I answer. When I can be useful, I'm useful. I will get on a plane, buy my own airline ticket, and fly to your house to help you. I sure will. And I'm doing it because I want to live in a way, as a result of these spiritual principles, as a result, like a debt, love and gratitude are not feelings for me. These are verbs, these are actions. And I want to live in a way that I demonstrate how grateful I am for the extraordinary life I've been given. And if the price I pay for that is an airline ticket, then let's do that. If the price I pay is I got to pause, I'm watching Forever on Netflix. Y'all should watch that. If the price I pay is I got to pause my TV program, I do that. If I got to go buy some groceries, cook some food, come to your house, clean, whatever. Whatever. Because there's never enough that I could do to demonstrate the gratitude that I have for the incredible gift, not of not drinking, but of living in a march towards joy, towards peace, towards freedom, towards usefulness. It's just incredible. You know, I don't know if that was a traditional AA talk or not. I really don't know. Here's the thing. I kind of don't care. Because I show up and give you whatever I got. This is what I got today. A level of gratitude that I came in at 26 years old, not thinking I belonged here, not coming to stay, and thinking when I looked around the room, why were these people still here 10, 15, 20 years later? Jesus, it's only 12 steps. If you did one a year, you'd be finished. What are you still doing here? That's what I thought. That's what I didn't understand. This is a way of life. This is an ongoing practice about how to live in the world with the other souls so that I'm contributing, not taking. Very difficult to do for me. Maybe it's easy for you. Very difficult for me. And so every disappointment is an opportunity to grow. Every fear is an opportunity to grow. And so I come today to say thank you for my sobriety. Thank you for believing that I have something worth sharing, that I have a voice that's worth being heard. I can never, ever, ever do enough for Alcoholics Anonymous to demonstrate the gratitude I have for the life you guys have given me. All right, thank you.